What is up, everybody? Shauna D-Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are having yourselves a great week, recovering from your Labor Day weekend. We are back. So this Saturday, under the lights in Jordan Hare Stadium, the Auburn Tigers take on Ball State. A little tune-up game this week and next week with Ball State and South Alabama. Auburn obviously coming off their impressive win against Baylor, who a lot of people were hyping up during the offseason, talking as if they are going to be contending for the Big 12. Now, they still can compete for the Big 12. They probably even still win the Big 12. But I talked about it the other day on the video where it just seems like a lot of people are saying, yeah, Auburn won, but like, stop it. And you saw even today, let me see if I can. I wonder if I can find it real quick, because I know Jeffrey Lee talked about it the other day. Let's see, find it, and I'll show you guys. This has to do with the AP. Is that because obviously it released on what's it on Tuesday because of the game over the weekend, and then now where is he at? Why can I not find him? Let's see. It's kind of annoying. Where's he at? Where are you at? Okay. Let's just do it this way. Because he was talking about Auburn's like recruiting and stuff. Not recruiting. He was talking about Auburn's the ranking system, because obviously the ranking came out. Alabama dropped down to, I believe, 21. And then Jeffrey Lee talked about how Auburn, they received like so many votes, and I think in week 1 or maybe preseason, but they received less votes going into this week 2 AP poll, if I remember correctly. Oh, I know where I can go. I know where I can go. I thought I was following. Maybe I wasn't. Let's see. But well, I guess I can't find it. I saw it. I wish I would have marked it, but yeah, that was mainly just what it was. It was just primarily Jeffrey talking about how Auburn received less votes. So right now, Auburn is sitting at 25. So they were very close. If they would have picked up maybe a few extra votes, they would more likely be in the top 25. But it's going to correct itself. You know, Auburn's got 2 cupcakes this week, but I think there's a few other top 25 matchups going on. Michigan, Oklahoma, Baylor, SMU, even though that's not a ranked matchup, but there's still it's just that caveat of Auburn won, but like it's just making excuses. Like Auburn won the game, but we didn't see Jackson Arnold throw, he only threw for like 108 yards. And again, what Baylor was doing defensively, Auburn decided to not throw it and just run it. Obviously we won't really get Auburn tested again like this until they travel to Norman in about 2 weeks. So the Ball State game, obviously, it's mainly just a tune-up game this week and next week against South Alabama. I think, and I've seen a lot of people talk about it, I think this game, there's not really much to predict as much as there's just some stuff I want to see. I do think we are going to see the offense air it out a good bit. Damari Alston got banged up a little bit. Be curious to see on like how much he plays or if he plays at all. Also remember Eric Singleton is also wasn't really 100% going into the Baylor game, but he played a role that he needed to play in that game to help Auburn win the game. Champ Anthony had to have surgery on his thumb. He's good, but he's just going to be out for a couple of weeks. So this is just let's work on some things, because I think one of the things we'll see in this game is the drop back passing, because what we heard throughout fall camp was when it comes to the RPO stuff, the offense is relatively good with that. They're good at it. Jackson Arnold is great at decision making, yada, yada, yada. It's the drop back passing that needs to be cleaned up and worked on. So I do think we are going to see a good bit of that in this game. Obviously, we're going to see the receivers. Everybody talked about it all off season, about the receivers and everything. I think we're going to see those guys perform. Ball State's it's not really going to pose a challenge. They played Purdue in week 1, and Purdue, I don't know if Purdue decided just to throw the ball and not really run it, but they threw for over 300 yards through the air. So Auburn can easily do that themselves. And again, I don't think it matters really what Ball State does defensively. If they tried to mimic what Baylor did, I mean, Jeremiah Cobb, Darrell Robinson, Omar Mapson, Alvin Henderson, the running backs will just go off as well. And then obviously if they try to stop the run, got the receivers. So there's not that much stuff that is to predict in this game. I just want to see the offense go out, and I kind of don't want to see them force the passing game. I will still like to see them run an offense and not just drop back pass every single time they get the ball. I do want to see them just work, and I want to see what this offense looks like when it's flowing, because last week they were able to stay ahead of the chains and not really getting third and long. I don't think they got into third and long that often, because they were picking up 5, 6, 7 yards every first down. So if they can continue to do that, pick up at least 6, 7 yards every first down, it's second and short, third and short, playbook's wide open, you can do whatever. But I just do think we're going to probably have some guys sit out because of injuries, stuff like that. The safety position is going to be interesting, because with Champ Anthony being out, we'll probably see, I guess you could see Eric Winters start at the safety position beside Caleb Harris. I do want to see some of the defensive issues. Now, Ball State isn't really going to challenge Auburn in the way that Baylor did. And I don't think there's that many teams that will. Oklahoma's probably a team that will. And so I think I want to see some of that get cleaned up. What was the issue defensively? Are we rotating too many guys? Maybe. That is just something I'm curious to see on how DJ Durkin, kind of like fixes that and figures that out. Because your corners are fine. Kane Lee, Jay Crawford, and Strader, they were fine. They were fine. They did their parts. It was mainly just like the linebackers and the safety position that were kind of the issue a little bit. If you want to throw the nickel position in there as well, you could. But I would be curious to see what kind of tweaks Durkin does defensively. Now, again, Baylor runs an air raid variant offense, so it is what it is. You have to just deal with what you have to deal with in that situation. But they did well enough. Auburn's front forward, they did well enough. They're going to eat Saturday against Ball State, and then get up big. And then take Jackson Arnold out and put in Deuce Knight, because we saw the backup quarterback Deuce Knight or what is his name? Daniels. Obviously in this situation, get up big. We're gonna see Deuce Knight. But what I mean is, I want to see Deuce Knight with the first team offense. I don't want to see like us come out like second half or whatever and all the starters are pulled and it's just Deuce Knights with the 2s or with the 3s or going against beating Ball State. I really want to see what Deuce Knight looks like with a first team offense, because you just don't know if you would need him down the line. So I want to see him throw to Cam Coleman. I want to see him throw to Perry Thompson, Malcolm Simmons, Bryce Kane, Horatio Fields. And then I'm curious to see on what that Auburn offensive line looks like when they do bring in the backups, because again, you're going to be losing pretty much all six of your offensive linemen. And what does that second group look like? I'm talking about like Broderick Scholl, Tyler Johnson. Is he good to go? He was maybe a little bit. It was maybe a little bit too early for him last season, because he did. I think he started a couple of games at least, or at least he came in. So maybe it was a little bit too early for him. DeAndre Carter, let's see him. Backup center is at Ty Buster, Dylan Senda. So I'm curious to see on what that offensive line looks like once the starters are pulled. But, and then what else is there about this game? I think it's gonna be electric. I think it's a 6:45 kickoff, I believe. So again, nighttime game in Jordan Hare Stadium. It's gonna be very fun. I'm looking very forward to watching it. It's gonna be fun. You come back home, opening home game for the Auburn Tigers, since they were on the road at Baylor last week. Fans are gonna be wild. I think it's a sold out crowd, and so there's gonna be a ton of people there excited to jump in and see what this Auburn offense really look like. We saw what the ground game looks like. Now we're gonna see what the passing game looks like, and then if we can incorporate it and work it together. And depending on how defenses decide to play Auburn down the line in the SEC conference, Auburn has a good chance of beating a lot of good quality teams. And again, watching some of these teams in week one, now it's week one, you make your biggest jumps from week one to week two. A lot of these teams just did not look impressive to me. That doesn't mean, you know, they still can't beat Auburn in games. But again, I talked about like how Texas A&M didn't really look great against UTSA. We're going to find out how good Oklahoma is when they take on Michigan this Saturday. And then just a few other games. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. But that is relatively it, guys. That's just kind of like a quick week two prediction. Just mainly just discussing the things that I want to see in this Auburn game against Ball State. But if you're new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure you comment below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see y'all in the next video. Y'all have a good one.